For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio is back in the studio after 10 days in Texas, the Stampede of Speed. My apologies, last week there was no show, Monday on Ignition or Tuesday NHRA Nitro. I was in the middle of getting an amazing opportunity to drive in Super Comp at the divisional race, and that required my full attention. Let's just put it that way, put it out there, all honesty, but wow, what a great experience. On this show, we've got Justin Ashley. He's going to be joining us just seconds from now. We're going to speak with Justin about his huge win, taking over the points lead, battling Antron Brown in the first round. Amazing stuff. Like, what a huge deal. Before we do that, though, I just want to mention everybody that helps us out, like the folks at PowerTube TV, where you can watch the show. PowerTube TV on Roku and Samsung. It's got all kinds of great car-related content, and WFO Radio is one of the shows, PowerTube TV. And just super excited, HusseyPerformance.net. David Allen and the team over there, they have upgraded, not just copper head gaskets anymore. HusseyPerformance.net. You can give them a call, 724-318-8292, whether it be oil pan gaskets, valve cover gaskets. They're all sourced from materials right here in the United States of America, Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Go to HusseyPerformance.net. Our great friends at CWT Industries, balance machines for everything that rotates. If it rotates, it can be balanced. And if you've got an old balancer, it's time to upgrade. New touchscreen technology, intuitive, works fast, works efficiently. It's a moneymaker for your shop. And oh, by the way, it balances things a little better, which, you know, that's a win-win-win. Jesse, DPF X-Fit. These are catalytic converters for heavy and mid-level diesel. Reach out, scan that QR code. You can learn a little more. I felt terrible about Eric Latino and what happened to the Pro Stock car. The good news is they got a backup getting ready to come out, and they will be in Vegas. DPF X-Fit by Jesse. Check them out. They've also got their G Sport line. We'll be learning a lot more about converters like that as time goes by. And our great friends at Bernie's Speed Shop, BURNYZZ, Bernie's, over 100,000 square feet up there in Ocala, Florida. Josh Hart and the team making props for movies and doing flame off restorations and selling e-bikes and all these different amazing things. Bernie's. Go to their website and check out their inventory. That's all I ask. And then there's the folks at Foggett, Gary Stinnett, putting together Project Pontiac, the Project Pontiac engine. It's looking like it will be in the Foggett booth at PRI. Can you believe that? If you're looking for a spray that will protect the inside of your racing engine, your very valuable cylinder hone, the finish in there that makes all the power, you need Foggett. It's as simple as that. FOGGIT.com. Go to Summit, go to Amazon. They've got it all. Later on in the show, I'll tell you about Marvin Rodak, and I'll tell you about Frank Hawley, and I'll tell you about Sam Tech and how to become a Patreon. But right now, let's bring on the man who got the job done again for the third time in Texas. This guy's got a collection of cowboy hats. Justin Ashley. What's up, Justin? How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, Joe. I appreciate it. I watch this show every week, so I'm glad I got the opportunity to come on and chat with you.
You earned your way on. That's the way we've sold it for so many years. If you win the race, not, years ago, we would get every single winner on, and we still try very hard to do that. But this is such a great story. And also, we ran into each other at the hotel on Sunday night. So it made it very easy. Everybody knows it's like, what's the best story and who's the easiest to get on the show? That's the formula. But wow, what a win, Justin. And before we talk about the round by round, the decision you made to sit out 3 qualifying sessions, I mean, was that, an easy decision? Was it a tough decision? How long had you been thinking about it? Clearly it worked out in the end. And before you answer, I'll tell you, I talked to Tommy Delago, and maybe he doesn't want me to tell this story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. He goes, it's an unusual thing, but I would do anything for that kid. It's like, wow, this guy is, like leader within the team. And then you go out and win the race. So talk a little bit about deciding to skip 3 qualifying sessions.
Yeah, I would say it was probably a difficult decision, more so than it was an easy decision. As we got closer to the actual event and I looked on the schedule, we saw that it overlapped with Yom Kippur, which is the holiest Jewish holiday of the year, which in turn would require me not to work or participate in the race from Friday night to Saturday night. So I sat down with Mike Green, Tommy DeLago, Dustin Davis, and we had this conversation and we went through all the different potential scenarios and potentially the best way to approach the weekend. Obviously sat down and spoke with Randy Glady and Maria from SIAG. And at the end of the day, we decided to move forward with this plan of only making 1 qualifying run. And I think the reason it was difficult wasn't more so because of the effect it would have on me. It was more so difficult because of the effect it might have on the team. If we went out there and we weren't able to qualify, it would absolutely break my heart because we have a team that's worked incredibly hard, both on and off the racetrack, to put us in a position to win the championship. But when we really looked at my principles, and our priorities as a team, it's faith, it's family, and then it's racing in that order. And it's so easy to get mixed up and lose sight of those principles when you're fighting for a championship. But we did not want to let that happen. And Mike Green, Tommy, Dustin, they took complete control of the situation and said, okay, this is what we got. Here's our approach and here's how we're going to do it. And everybody from them to the rest of our partners to Randy and Maria and the team from Skag Racing, they had my back from day one. And I think that they know that I would run through a brick wall for them. And I feel like Tommy said, he would run through a wall for me. We're more than a team. We're more than a family. So I'm just so grateful and thankful that they had my back and that we were able to get a win at such a critical time in the season because they really, really deserve it.
Yeah, well, we'll get into the round by round. No, I respect that greatly, but also felt some of what I would call anxiety on the team's behalf, right? There were more cars and there were qualifying spots. The drama of staging up on Friday afternoon, and like if you blew the tires off, that would be a totally different thing. You went a 77, if memory serves me right. And I talked to Tommy and I was like, do you feel better about that? And he's like, that anything can happen right now. But it all ended up working out if you call having to run Antron Brown first round working out, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was wild the way everything worked. But yeah, I mean, look, that was the risk that we were going to take. But again, a lot of pressure going into that first qualifying round. I think we as a team kind of felt that pressure. But they came through, they got the job done. And then coming back on Sunday, having the opportunity to race Antron Brown. Really, that's what it was, a great opportunity. He's a really good friend of mine. He's like a brother to me. I would love to race him later on in the day, maybe in the finals. But once that helmet goes on, we knew how important that round was to us. At the end of the day, it was not going to decide the championship. It really wasn't. This is going to be a battle till the end. But if we wanted to put ourselves in the right position, we had to go out there, get that first round win against him, and doing it the second pair out without lane choice, having only made 1 run the entire weekend. That was incredible. That was outstanding.
A great story, like one of those big sports stories. I hope it gets picked up by, whoever and however much you want it to. But I'm going to push back on you a little, Justin. You were behind Antron. If he beats you first round and happens to go on to win the race, that could have been the end of your championship hopes. I mean, I know Pomona's 1.5 points and hope springs eternal and all, and you guys would never quit, but that could have been a significant swing. Instead, it happened the other way, and you guys ran nearly identical down the racetrack. You're 41 on the tree, according to the NHRA.com ladder. Went 77.5. He went 77.6 with 61, and you won the race. Had it gone the other way, we talked about it in the marquee matchup. It would have made things a lot harder for those championships you talked about.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. It would have made things a lot harder. It's normally a 20-point round, but it's really a 40-point round, right? Because it's a 40-point swing one way or the other, in a situation like that. So it definitely would have made our lives a lot more difficult. And we kind of spoke about it in the marquee matchup. I spoke about it with Bruno earlier in the morning. For whatever reason, when our teams race each other, more than likely it's going to be a really close and a really good race. And that's what you saw. And I was happy for the fans that they got to see a race like that. just critical for the countdown and for a number of different reasons. And we're able to take that and learn more and apply it throughout the rest of the day. But when we go head to head like that and you get a good round win, it kind of gets things started, and you start to kind of feel that momentum and forward motion. And we tried to put it into practice the rest of the day. And I think Mike and Tommy did a great job of doing that.
Huge win. Third win at Dallas. You got 3 hats now. What is it about the Motorplex? You guys seem to be very comfortable there, rise to the occasion. I don't know. Define it.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to define. Growing up, being a New Yorker, still living in New York, I didn't think I would ever have 1 cowboy hat. But now I have 3, and they're like prized possessions. We all fight for that cowboy hat. We all want it. Christy and Billy Meyer doing an awesome job at the Texas Motorplex. You were involved in it. You did a great job all week throughout the Stampede of Speed, getting people excited, not only about this event, but the events and the races that were going on throughout the entirety of the week. So it's just special. I don't know what it is. I think it has to do with, having a comfort level, having won there before 2 out of the last 3 years, obviously now 3 out of the last 4. So we made a lot of laps on that specific surface, which is one of the best surfaces that we race at, period. And just kind of getting into a rhythm and the importance of the race at this time of the year. I think all of that together has helped add up to the success that we've had. In addition, I mean, look, this year we're in a different position than we've been in years past, because of our relationship with Skag Power Equipment, because of our relationship with Toyota, our ongoing relationship with Phillips. We feel like the position that we're in right now is much better than any position we've ever been in before. So just a stellar race at a stellar facility.
Very cool. Yeah, we'll dig a little deeper. I just want to let you know that everybody out there is in the WFO universe saying what's up, and various congratulations to you and the team. And I think it was congratulations, Justin. Congratulations. What a strong run. Really amazing situation. You've been on WFO all year long, and you kind of told us since the ownership change that the whole reason behind it was for these final 6 races. And, running well early in the season was what happened the past couple of years, but just not having the inventory to go down the stretch. And that's when championships are won. You got to have the inventory. This year you got the inventory, and now you have the points lead by 44 over Antron and 76 over Sean Langdon, who you beat in the first and second round. That second round matchup against Langdon, like that was another marquee matchup, championships on the line, and you came out on top.
Yeah, that was a really fun race. I think I was talking to him for a while before, because there were some issues, not to bring him up again, but with the tree in the first round. And those things happen, right? Computers, these things happen. But him and I were laughing because his tree like never dropped in the first round, or it dropped super late. So him and I ended up starting a conversation and talking about, discipline at the starting line and, what it takes to be a good driver. So we spoke for a while, and sure enough, we go out there. He has like an 045 light. It does a really good job pedaling it. But him and I don't think either of us expected to have the kind of trouble, that we had on our run. I was able to drive through some spin and some tire smoke and tire shake, and he was able to get on and off and back on it. Thankfully, he wasn't able to catch us. But I think in the past, for whatever reason, a lot of times we haven't come up on the winning end of races like that. This time we caught a bit of a break, but I think it was you. Somebody spoke to Mike Green on the starting line, and he said at this point in the year, you take a win light any way that you can get it. We outperformed the competition. Sean's got an amazing, amazing team, but just to be able to kind of knock him off, who was sitting third in points, as you said, so to be able to knock off the players around us in the first 2 rounds was critical. And then to move on to the semifinals was a huge win in and of itself for us.
Yeah, just and there, like, it doesn't get any easier. No rest for the weary, as you got to go up against the winner of the most recent race, someone who is elevating in the point standings, someone who has been there 8 times, got 88 wins. All of a sudden, Mike Neff's got the car running. So you go through Antron, Langdon, and Tony Schumacher. That was a more conventional race to get through Tony.
Yeah, I think, what is that? That's got to be like a combined 12 championships, right? Or something like that.
Let's see.
In the first 3 rounds, right?
Yeah, Antron 3, Tony 8, that's 11. And Sean, like, are we counting, he's got the Top Fuel Championship, and he's got a couple of Super Comp championships. He's got junior championships. Yeah, a lot. How about that?
It's a lot of championships to go through in 3 rounds. But yeah, that was, Tony is the 8-time champ for a reason. I think it's probably taken him a little bit more, and he'll tell you the same thing, a little bit more time than he expected to get that car running right. They have a really smart group over there. So because of that, we knew that eventually they were going to get it figured out, and they've gotten it figured out, especially in the countdown during this period of time. I think looking back at it, they probably had one of the best race cars all weekend, Friday through Sunday. I think they made it down probably every time and ran really well in the heat, and it was super hot on Sunday. So we knew that was going to be tough. We knew more than likely they were going to make it down the racetrack. So our focus wasn't outrunning them or trying to do anything outside our comfort zone. Our focus was just like it is every run, trying to run as quick and as fast in our particular lane as we felt like we could. And it was an 80 to an 81. And these are the kind of races that you're going to get in the countdown. Every race is going to be like a final round. So his team did their job. Our team did our job. Mike and Tommy did their job throughout the entire day. So to win a close race like that and head to the final round was really an awesome feeling.
Yeah. And then the final round against Clay, right? Like those guys having a very strong run as well. And Clay wins the U.S. Nationals, only 114 points behind, right? If Clay were to win out, he would be in the championship conversation. We don't know how it would go with that 1.5 points at Pomona. But just tell me about prepping for the final round. You're 26 on the tree, 77 on the track. It's a whole shot victory. He's 59 and outruns you. I feel like at the beginning of the race, if you said, hey, dude, you're going to be 59, which is a good light, and you're going to run quicker than them, you'll probably take it. And that 26 light came in big.
Yeah. I spoke to Clay after in the winner's circle too, and we agreed he had a really good package, right? In 059 and then outrun us 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to win that race. But thankfully for us, we were the 1 out of 10 and we won it. I really was kind of hovering around the 40s and 50s all day, not really sure how I ended up with a 26. I felt like I hit it really well, but kind of similar to where I hit it throughout the entirety of the day. I maybe took a half or maybe took 1. So maybe it was closer to a 36 or something like that, but still to be able to get a win. I think that was complete divine intervention, just to see everything come full circle for us to make the one run, qualify, leave with a win light. And when I crossed the finish line throughout those shoots and saw the win light, it was a combination of excitement, but maybe more so than anything else, just tremendous relief, because there was so much pressure internally that I was putting on myself throughout the entirety of the weekend, because I knew that I put the team in a little bit of a difficult position, but they were so incredibly understanding. And I believe that God rewarded us for that. And it all ended up working out. Now we have a long way to go, but to be able to race against a guy like Clay, who has such an infectious personality, he has such a big smile, and I think he is so incredibly good for the sport of NHRA drag racing. And I've learned a lot from him, not only driving, but just personality wise, to always be grateful for the position that you're in, because he's always happy. He's always smiling. It's always a pleasure to be able to race against a guy like him. Another really close drag race. 3 out of the 4 races throughout the weekend were super close. So getting that win was extra special, and getting that cowboy hat was even greater.
Yeah. Okay. So let's dig down a little deeper in that. Like Sammy Eubanks, everyone has these questions, right? It's like the story of the race. You skip 3 qualifying runs. And just so people understand, it's sundown on Friday to sundown on Saturday. At that point, qualifying is over, and it could have been tough. But he wants to know, like, did you watch racing? Were you monitoring? Were you feeling that, like, oh my gosh, this is such a quick field and what's going on? Or did you just stay away from it?
So that's actually a great question. And that was kind of fly by the seat of my pants. So again, you said it was Friday night, sunset to sunset Saturday night. So Friday night and Saturday, I spent quite a bit of time praying, going to, like, somebody might go to church, going to temple, going to synagogue, and praying during that period of time, fasting. So I didn't eat or drink for a 25-hour period of time, and prayed. But when I did have that time, to be honest, I was not planning on watching any of the racing. I thought it would be better for me just to disconnect and kind of take that time to myself. But I didn't follow that rule. I was so exhausted, to be honest, Friday, I think just because of the way everything was going and all the rushing that was going on, that I didn't watch the runs Friday night. I woke up Saturday morning to a text from Sarah Slaughter, who does our PR, saying, you're in the number 11 position. So I felt pretty good, because I knew it was going to be hot throughout Saturday, but I knew it was going to be close. So I was hoping we would stay in the field. Obviously we did. So to answer your question, I did not watch Friday night. I did, however, watch most of both sessions on Saturday. It's just, I almost wish I didn't. I wish I just disconnected from everything. But I think I realized how much I really love this sport. and how much I want to be out there. And I think that in and of itself was a pretty healthy realization. Definitely a tough thing to watch, but I did have my NHRA.TV on Saturday.
There you go. It makes sense, right? Like you say, I'm not going to watch it, and then you have to watch because it was dramatic, right? It was a dramatic moment. All right, so point standings: 44 up on Antron, 76 up on Sean, 88 up on Steve. I think everybody in that group is still legitimately in the championship hunt. Tony Schumacher, 105, Clay, 114 back, heavier lift. Doug, 133 back. They've had such a, just meh countdown. Not really great, but 133 points. That's not that far when you got a 1.5 points race. So with 2 races to go, I know you're going to say 1 round at a time, and that's the reason, but like, how does that go into the work that you put in, right? Like you got 8 available rounds of racing left.
Yeah. I mean, you said it, that's where our focus is, 8 available rounds. As far as I'm concerned, look, the truth, right? We're in a good position, but this thing is far from over. A few years ago, we were 82 points up going into Vegas, and we finished in 4th.
Right.
So everybody, as far as I'm concerned, if you are not mathematically eliminated, you're in it. So it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a battle to the end. So in terms of how the points play into everything, we have the 8 rounds, but we also have the potential bonus points during qualifying as well. So our objective and our focus is, of course, to stay within ourselves. Like you said, take it 1 round at a time, but play to win the game, right? As they say, rather than playing not to lose. I think that we have to just go out there and run as quick and as fast as we think we can each and every time and stay aggressive. Operate just as if this was the first race of the year. There's no reason to change anything right now. We are in this position for a reason, and we're in this position because of Dustin Davis, because of Mike Green, because of Tommy DeLago, because of our entire Skag Power Equipment Toyota team, top to bottom, the work that they put in. They deserve to be in this position, and they deserve to enjoy the moment. But our focus right now has to be internal. We can't look behind us. We have to just stay focused on ourselves and know that at the end of the day, everybody's in this fight till the end. I'm sure no matter what, it's going to come down to Pomona. We just have to take care of our own business, or it's not going to matter anyway.
Was that like a Herm Edwards drop right there? You play to win the game? Hello?
You play to win the game. That was a Herm Edwards drop.
Yes.
I'm a Jets fan. That was a Herm Edwards drop when they were like 4-11 and talking about draft position. But he's right.
Well,
he is right. You play to win the game, right?
You guys are not much better right now, by the way.
Thanks.
Well, at the start of the season, we had high hopes. The Dolphins and the Jets, and we were gonna battle right down to the end. And the wheels have come off both teams. Not good.
Very quickly. But the Mets
and the Yankees
were a few games away. Subway Series.
Can you imagine? The Dodgers going to have something to say. That's your job to make it a Subway Series, and our job, obviously, to get rid of the Guardians. But I know Sarah Slaughter would like that.
Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be really, really neat. That'd be a really good story.
I don't know if the rest of the country would enjoy it as much as we would. Stampede of Speed. You get to pick the dessert for the champions dinner next year. I don't know if they want you to keep that a secret or if you can tell us. It's just a dessert.
I'll tell you.
All right.
I'm sure I put much more thought into this than was actually required, but I wanted to pick something that no one else picked before because, like, being from New York, I'm naturally going to choose like cheesecake, right? So what I decided to do, I already told Elin, is I chose red velvet cake. So that's going to be my dessert of choice. I think most people enjoy that, so I think that should be a fun one.
Yeah, I love that. No, that's good. The next year, I'm planning on being able to eat it. This year, I was, doing my own version of a health thing. And
Can we talk about that? I don't want to interrupt. I just want to talk about your health journey for a minute because we spoke at the hotel, right? You're down. How many pounds now are you down?
Okay, so I got on the scale. Nobody cares about this, but everybody, you should be healthy. And so I did. Listen, after Charlotte, I'm looking at myself. If you see me on NHRA TV, it looks like I'm trying to shoplift a basketball down there. And I said, all right, cutting out alcohol, cutting out sugars, and going to do the keto, which works for me. And I'm going to exercise from end of Charlotte until at least Vegas. And I came back from Dallas down 8 pounds, which is pretty amazing if you think about it, to drop 8 pounds in 10 days or 12 days from start to Dallas to back, and so I'm very happy about it. I'm very, very happy. I'm at least back within the tolerance, but I did not get to enjoy the fantastic dessert at the champions dinner this year. I just looked at it and I thought that looks good. And that was it.
Well, next year, let's make a plan that next year you'll be able to enjoy the red velvet cake because you're going to be so slim, So slim and trim, you're going to be like, you know what? I deserve a treat.
Right. Hopefully. Doubt it. What about the rest of the stuff that went on? We had the fan fests and concerts, and I know you came in for some of it, but I get to work this whole 10 days, and I'm constantly I'm thinking about people going next year. Honestly, the divisional race, I got to run in the divisional race. It looks like hopefully they do that again next year, but just what's your take on the whole Stampede of Speed?
Yeah. And congratulations to you, by the way. I know we spoke at the hotel, but congratulations to you on your debut. Yeah, I think the Stampede of Speed is awesome, right? I think all the tracks do a great job, but let's be honest, this track does it a little bit differently. It's a week full of entertainment and events, whether it's racing on the track or whether it's concerts and music or activities or fan fests. It was really neat. That Thursday night fan fest, which I participated in, is great. It's one of our favorites to do all year. They have Oliver the Watusi there. They have music. They have food trucks. They have the Jegs All-Stars signing autographs on one side, the Mission Foods driver signing autographs on another. There is constant flow of activity, constant flow of entertainment. And I think it speaks to everybody from Christy and Billy Meyer to Elin Werner and the entire staff that they have at Texas Motorplex. They genuinely care about the fans, and they care about the experience that the fans and the teams are going to have throughout the entirety of the week and throughout the entirety of the weekend. And I think that goes a long way. I think we feel that. And as teams and drivers, we try and reciprocate the best way that we can. But the Fan Fest, I wasn't at the Champions Dinner this year. In years past, I've been there, and it is an absolute blast. And then the Fan Fest, I was at it again this year. And it's just so much fun to be able to participate in events like that and see the fan turnout. They did a great job of coming out. I think there was a steady flow of autographs for like an hour and a half. So just awesome to be a part of it. Huge fan of the whole Stampede of Speed.
Well, next year, as luck would have it, is the 5th Stampede of Speed, but it is the 40th NHRA Fall Nationals. And so for you to be one of the winners at the Champions Dinner is a tremendous deal. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag early, but you can imagine that the Meyer family and everybody that works on this deal probably has something larger than life planned for the 40th, those big round anniversary numbers. And I have heard that some really great stuff is going to be happening at the Champions Dinner 1 year from now. So folks, I would get my tickets ASAP and be ready for the 40th. Just saying.
Yeah, they're definitely they always do something special. I'm excited to see it.
There you go. Justin, thank you so much for joining us on WFO. I appreciate you making the time for us. Good job out there, but 2 races to go. Got a couple of weekends home. What are you going to do with this time?
I think I'm just going to work, right? Find ways both on and off the racetrack to improve as a driver and improve the program. Definitely going to enjoy this win over the next day or two and soak it all in because they're so hard to come by. But definitely spend time with family. The guys will be back at the shop working on the race car. And just continue to put the work in both on and off the racetrack. Make sure we're in a position to go after this championship.
Forgive me if I missed this, but is this the first time you've been on the show since you got engaged?
Yeah, I think it might be. Yeah,
maybe, right? Like, yeah. Congratulations on that too. Like, wow, what an impactful year though, right? All the change and good things happening for Justin.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. Gina Marie, my fiance.
Yes,
we're really excited. Very, very blessed to have a woman like her in my life. So we're super excited about these next steps. And also, before I sign off, thank you, Joe, for having me on. And I just want to thank the NHRA community because I've got I've got messages. I've got fans that came up to me. They just kind of rallied around, and the support that I got throughout the weekend was nothing short of amazing. So from fans to other drivers to teams to NHRA as a whole, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for that. So proud to be a part of this awesome community. So grateful for everybody at Skag Racing, for our team, for all of our partners, for their unconditional support. And just excited to continue getting after this thing the rest of the year. But thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate you. And we'll see you in Vegas in a couple weeks.
All right. Have a good day. Thanks.
Justin Ashley with us here on WFO Radio. Got the job done out there at the NHRA Fall Nationals, the Stampede of Speed for the 3rd time in the last 4 years or so. Pretty amazing. And he's right. Like, there's always conversation that's happening off the mic or away from the spotlight about decisions that are made and things that are happening, what's going on? And I recall when we first were told that Justin's going to make 1 hit and that's it. And the reason why, I was like, wow, that's, I'm going to use another word, courageous right? Principled. And I was not certain it was going to work out. There was no like, this could easily not work out. But everyone that I talked to was very supportive. Like, I did not encounter somebody who said like, oh, that's a bad idea. Like, everyone was pretty much like, yep, that's good. And look, he goes on and wins the race. Pretty amazing stuff. Put your comments in the comments section, guys. Let's hear what you have to say. I'm going to get into some of the other categories. I see there's a big chat going on about Alan Reinhart. Alan Reinhart will return to WFO next week. Alan Reinhart will be in Vegas and Pomona. Yeah. So, you know, like the chat that's going on in there, and everybody is like speculating and all kinds of speculation. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, no, what is it? No such thing as bad publicity, right? Toya says, loves the red velvet. Yeah, I love red velvet too. Roscoe, everybody is, you know, cheering me. 8 pounds, baby. 8 pounds. I was very disciplined. I was like, you know, Art and Jan Peterson last year. Art pulls me aside. He goes, Joe, listen, you look very fat on TV and you got to do some things. And, you know, if you weren't fat, you'd be, everything would be perfect. Like, that's the only thing, the only negative. And I was like, thanks, Art. And then, and I did not listen, because by the time Charlotte rolls around, I'm, you know, slob. So I decided to make a change, at least until Pomona, because you got to look good at the banquet, and then it can go totally south. This guy did Master Cleanser. I don't know what that is. It sounds frightening. Sounds like something out of Mad Max. Master Cleanser runs Bada Town. Old reference, but somebody got it. Saw Furiosa the other day. Really good. Dallas is a very unique race compared to the rest of the schedule. So many great things. So many great things. Justin may be one of the most polite guests you've ever had on. Polite? It's just his personality. I love Justin. Like, that's the thing. Some people don't get him, and that's okay. You don't have to get him. Justin doesn't need everybody to be his fan, right? Like, if you don't get him, like, that's fine. Calm and relaxing. So proud of you and your family. I'm your biggest fan, says Craig Altier. Craig, my buddy. Craig got to the final round. Good job, Craig. I'm 0-0 in the final. You know, I know what happened, but I just want to say to you, Craig, through the camera, I'm proud of you. You did an excellent job, and it's going to come. It's going to happen sooner or later. You keep knocking on the door, and one day the door is going to open. Code Red. That was awesome. You got up on the wheel, and, you know, just the racing gods did not want you to win on that given day. In the end, they decide. Always love hearing from Justin. Always so well spoken. Let's see. Another great representative of the next generation of drivers. Latoya, how did you do in your debut? How did it feel? This great ignition show. Will you be at Fastlane Friday next year? Congratulations to the weight loss. Everybody loving the weight loss. Yes, I plan. I'm still on the roster for Fastlane Friday. This past week, talking about Homestead Miami Speedway, I happened to be in Dallas for like 11 days. And so I couldn't do it. And so Carlos did it. But yeah, no, I'm still on the roster for Fastlane Friday. It's one of my favorite things to do. Thank you, Craig. All right. So, whoa, this guy's down 42 pounds. Pounds, baby. Great show as usual. I'm down 42 pounds since February. Good luck. Yeah, see, I don't need to do that. There's a number that if I hit it, I'm good. And if I go over it, I'm not good. It's as simple as that. So I do want to get into the other pro categories, but I will, since everyone is asking, play this little video we put together. For those that don't know, I didn't talk about it on the show at all because I'm a big believer in making sure it actually happens before you talk about it. And it actually happened. Bo Butner and Randy Lynn had, you know, an extra car, the Super Comp Dragster, the JBA Super Comp Dragster, runs about 185 miles an hour. Bo was like, you know, run the car. I was like, yeah, okay, what do you want me to do here? And so went out there and ran the car and got 2 time runs and then first round on Tuesday. And the first 2 time runs were spent, you know, acclimating to the car. I feel like I acclimated quickly, but not quickly enough because I red lighted first round. But it was a good effort in my driving, like burnout, staging, got the button, kept it in the groove, 186.8 or something, new personal best speed to jump in a 100 and 86 mile per hour dragster, just with very little experience, just the stuff I did with Jimmy Stahl. Thank you, Jimmy, for forcing me to get my top dragster license earlier this year in February. Like, it goes back to Orlando, where I ran my friend Lee Neal's truck, went 141, ran super street, got a lot of practice staging up on the pro tree, made like 8 runs. Then a few days later, went and drove Jimmy's car, got my top dragster license, went at 184 and a half. And so when Bo says, yeah, the car's about 185, are you going to be okay? I said, yes, I am. I'll be okay. And sure enough, I was. Just went red, 12th thou. Let's watch the run just so you guys can see, right? This is me feeling proud of myself here. And that's Wayne Landry on the other side of the racetrack. My buddy comes over. Everybody was so kind. Like, Autumn Height comes over. Everybody's like, is this your first race? Are you racing? Like, this is my first Super Comp race. Yes, it was my first Super Comp race. I did go red 12th thou, bummer. But half the field lost. That's the thing about drag racing. We all had a story. And I felt real good until they called second round. And then I got a little sad. I was like, oh, this is where it really hurts. When they're calling everybody back and you don't get to go. But I want to say publicly, thank you to Bo and Randy Lynn and everybody that was so helpful in making it happen. And I just, honored to be able to drive such a high quality car, front suspension, Miller chassis, car that was originally put together by Billy Torrence, like one of the, most modern Super Comp dragsters, certainly top couple percent of all cars out there. And for me to have that experience, certainly going to help me with my announcing, certainly going to help me with every other aspect of the job. And, Bo has said, we'll do it again. And so I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty amazing. A lot of fun. Let's see what else. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you interview yourself after a round win. Yeah. No interviews after round wins, AJ. Right? I got to make laps at the Texas Motorplex. For me, that was amazing. And I said this earlier this year. I'll say it again. We underappreciate the effort of the .90 racers and the Sportsman racers, Lucas Oil Series racers dramatically. We underappreciate their efforts, dedication, and cost. Yeah, these guys, they got a car, they go out there, they go fast. Like, they're doing something significant. It's just there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cars. And so if there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of anything, people get desensitized to it. They're like, yeah, there's a bunch of them. How hard could it be? They're all out there to rip each other's throats out. It is not easy. And so the fact that I could kind of hang and throw down a decent run, I was excited. Very excited. We got a lot of positive feedback. Matt Hagan wins in funny car. Austin Prock was a number one qualifier for 13 times in the season, tying a record. Scare first round. Terry Haddock almost beat him first round, beat that car in first round 2 years in a row. But Austin does a great job of driving, gets down there. Austin runs Paul Lee, knocks out Paul, goes to the semifinals against Caps. Car would not. They had a mechanical, something with the linkage and throttle, no air. So Caps goes to the final round. The other side of the track, it's Hagan. Hagan got there through Daniel Wilkerson, Cruz Pedregon, and Bobby. And Hagan wins. And so Hagan, once again, we got a lot of double ups at the Stampede of Speed and Texas Fall Nationals. I wonder what we're going to eat with Hagan next year. I have a feeling it's going to be some sort of meat, some sort of steak, which I'm all for. Point standings. Austin continues to lead by 147 over John Force, by 168 over Hagan, by 180 over Caps, by 211 over Tasca, by 299 over Daniel Wilkerson. I am going to stick to my statements that It's just how strong can Austin finish? Mostly because of the Jack Beckman vertigo situation. And that was very bizarre and sad and unfortunate. And, you know, the night before, Jack was doing the draw auction with Jason Galvin and Brian Loans. And they were on the stage and they were doing an auction and they had a great time and they raised over $100,000 for the Drag Racing Association of Women at the Rosalie Noble auction benefiting draw. And what the release says, and that's all I know, and that's all I would say, is that Jack went home feeling fine, and then woke up in the middle of the night not feeling, and then woke up in the morning with a vertigo-like condition, symptoms. A condition that you don't want to be driving a 330 mile per hour nitro funny car during. And so I've never had vertigo. I've had some things after, like being out on a boat where you're still moving. Monica says vertigo is brutal. I admire Jack Beckman, like Clay Millican a few years ago. I admire the person who goes against the grain to do what is right. And so many people, like for 100 years, they would tell you, the old rub some dirt on it, right? Like Ricky Rudd taping the eyes open. That's not the world anymore. And it's terrible for Tim and Chris and Danny and that whole team, because they were in the fight, but they're still second in the points, by the way. Skip the race. Hagan wins the race. Hagan is up to third, and they're still in second in points. Let's just hope that Jack, whatever it is that is causing his vertigo, because that's not, it's something that's caused by something, and we just don't know what that is, and Jack is going to handle that. And, I feel right. Everyone's saying vertigo is not fun. Feel sad for Jack. We feel sad. We feel bummed out for Jack. Jack was just on the show. We got a YouTube video with 85,000 views with Jack. And it's just tough. Who subbed for Clay? Wasn't it Austin Prock? I think it was Austin. But they did what they had to do in the very difficult situation. And speaking with Brittany on the starting line, hopefully you saw that interview. NHRA tweeted it out or X'd it out or whatever you want to call that. And the emotions. So, the word proud, like who cares if I'm proud? But I thought, good job, those guys. They went out there, they made a statement for the team, and Brittany, showed a little emotion, like what a year it's been for John Force Racing. And they keep on coming at you. And they're 2 races away from winning a funny car championship and potentially the top 2 in points. Wow. What a year. What a year it has been. So we'll hopefully have Matt Hagan in the future on the show. Pro stock. Greg Anderson, Jeg Coughlin. Jeg wins the race. Skag double, right? What a day of pro stock racing. What can you say? Just amazing. But in the end, Jeg's 42, Greg's 34. Jeg outran him, couple of thou. That's one of those coin flip races. Pro stock is brutal. Greg beats Dallas Glenn. So let's talk for just a moment. If Greg Anderson had taken a dive to Dallas Glenn would have gotten to the final round and maybe lost to Jeg, but the chances of a KB Titan championship would have gone up. And a lot of people at this time of the year might have thought that that was what was going to happen. And Greg goes out there and beats Dallas Glenn because Greg doesn't care about, he wants to win. He wants to win. I'm saying he doesn't care about the team. I'm saying he wants to win. He's 90 points out of the lead. Greg Anderson isn't thinking about KB Titan winning the championship. Greg Anderson is thinking about Greg Anderson winning the championship. And he's not going to, fall on his sword. But Dallas would be an additional 20 points ahead of Aaron Stanfield. He's 53 points of Aaron. He's 90 ahead of Greg. He's 111 ahead of Erica. He's 196 ahead of Jeg. It's still the big 4. But really, I think most people still think it's the big 2. I'm not telling you to admire Greg for doing what's right or not right, because I can understand the argument either way. There's a big bonus for a team winning and all of these things. We'll see. And then in Pro Stock Motorcycle, well, that was a fun one. Pro Stock Motorcycle, Gage Herrera wins again, but over Matt Smith in the final round. And, Matt didn't get down the racetrack, but Gage gets the job done. He's got himself another cowboy hat. Gage has got a 62-point lead over Matt and 161 over Richard Gadsden. So a true and genuine 2-horse race, which I think most people have acknowledged that that's been the case for most of the year. But Matt Smith needs to do something in Vegas, needs to make a move. I think Matt, but it's only 62 points. If Gage were to have a problem, some sort of technical issue, the bike not shift, who knows? Red light, it could go the other way. Matt Smith could still get in there. So we still have great points battles in pretty much everything. Parks. The Jegs All-Stars were awesome as a D1 guy. Yeah, congratulations, Northeast. It was freaking great to see Tom Stalba, Vince Mussolino, and Steve Zupka step up when it mattered to secure the D1 championship. I agree. That was one of the most exciting Jegs All-Stars that I have been a part of because of the back and forth nature between D7 and D1. Little East Coast, West Coast rivalry, and the East got it done. And they should be proud, and it was amazing talking to all those guys. What is this? Joe, you need to talk to the NHRA people, National Dragster Magazine. We get one poster and on it a bike. I like bikes, but we need some dragster posters or foldouts. I can dig it. That's all I'll say. I can dig it. The bikes are a niche of a niche. I like them. Nicole Clark, the Killer Bees. That was insane. 3 days, 3 trophies. Yeah, what did he call it? The Texas Triple? Swept it. Championship, All-Stars, Fall Nationals. The thing is, he won the championship a little bit earlier in the year. We just saved the celebration for Dallas. Gage Herrera gets the poster this year. Well, he is one of the most prolific racers we've seen in our time. So maybe there's something to that. I am not part of the brain trust that makes those decisions, sir. And also, I will not pollute their mind with my opinion on it. You can write a letter. Top alcohol dragster was Matt Cummings. Sean Bellemere won Funny Car. Matt Harris won Comp. Justin Pachillo. How great was it that Brian Loans calls the winner's circle, and you get to hear Brian Loans congratulate his buddy. Home track, right? Like I always get sad because, I don't have a home track anymore. Miami Hollywood Speedway, Maruso Motorsports Park, we don't have a home track. What would it be like? One of my home track guys went out there and won a national event. I think it would be pretty amazing. I'd be super stoked for him. And so I thought that was great of Brian. And the guys on the Safari, too, a couple of them from New England Dragway, were like, tell Justin that we're here, too, and that we're rooting for him. And congratulations. That was really nice. Michael Brand, Stock, Kyle Seacrest, Super Comp, Tom Stalba, Super Gas, Jordan Pratt, Super Street, Michael Chitty and Top Sportsman, Jim Prevost and Top Dragster, and then the All-Stars. Alan Bush, Super Street, Kurt Frederick, Top Sportsman, Dawson Rogers, Junior Dragster, Greg Stanfield, Factory X, no 6-second Factory X run. We were just thousandths away, but it didn't happen. Jegs All-Stars, Julie Natus, Top Alcohol Dragster, Mike Boehner, Jegs All-Stars and Super Gas, Michael Brand, doubled up. Stock Eliminator, Brand gets the double up bonus. Funny Car with Sean Bellemere, Steve Zupka secured the victory. 002 Light, Comp Eliminator. Tom Stalba won Super Comp. That's not a double, even though he did double. It's not the same class. Super Stock was Trey Vetter. Couldn't be there. Had to leave to head home to go to work. That's a bummer, Trey, but good job. And Vince Mussolino, the Top Dragster World Champion, getting the job done in the Jegs All-Stars. And just like that, we're headed to Vegas, baby. We're going to be off for 2 weeks. Like people are asking about Jack Beckman's health in the chat section. And I'm going to just leave that between you and Jack and John Force Racing. It's so sensitive with people's health situations and information. And, there's so much information, not just in drag racing, but out in the world that is inaccurate, not true and incorrect. And so I would prefer to not get it wrong by mistake. Simple as that. Not get it wrong by mistake. All right, guys, don't forget PowerTube TV broadcasts our shows, this show in particular. You can check them. You can download it on Roku and watch all kinds of car content. Shout out to our great friend Marvin Rodak, who was at the race. His logo was on Hartford's car, Pro Stock car. What a great story. Got to the semis, just didn't quite shook the tires in the semis, or excuse me, second round. But Rodak's Coffee, you always win. 817-924-6821. Marvin Rodak. Call him, get some coffee. He was out there having a great time. We say thanks to our folks at Foggett. The Patreons last night, Listener Club, VIPs. These guys pay a monthly, and we use every dollar on internet and studio equipment and all that stuff. But they get some content behind the scenes. They get to watch the Ignition Show. They get to be a part of the Ignition Show, hear it from Heiner, the Pro Stock Show, etc. Speaking of a team that had a tough go of it, even just getting there. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. It's not too soon to start thinking about the holidays. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure, frankhawley.com. Be sure to get a gift certificate for your loved one and send them on the Dragster Adventure. They will love it. I mean, if it's anything like the experience I just had. samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. We always say start your education at full speed. Plus our great friends at Foggett. Remember, it's looking like the Project Pontiac engine is going to be in the Foggett booth at PRI. And the best thing you can do is order a couple of cans of Foggett to protect the inside of your engine. Available on Amazon, available at Summit, and available at Foggett.com. Bernie Speed Shop, BURNYZZ.com. Josh Hart. Big stuff coming up for Josh Hart. But Bernie's is always rocking and rolling. Over 100,000 square feet. Classic cars, muscle cars, exotic cars, frame-off restorations, engines. They do everything. Bernie's, BURNYZZ.com. Big thanks to our friends at HusseyPerformance.net, CWT Industries, balance machines. If you work in a machine shop, if you work in a balance shop, you're not using a CWT balancer, I don't know what to say. I will be in their booth at PRI. So make plans to come on down. Shout out to our friends at Torque Calibration Services of Australia, FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters, the official Power Glide of Project Pontiac, Total Seal, and Jesse Converters. DPFX Fit for Jesse. And saw Eric Latino in, what was it, Chili's afterwards. We were watching the video on NHRA.com, and then Eric comes walking in. And we got to spend a few minutes with Eric, and I'm just so glad that he was able to walk away from that horrific incident. Tore up a car. But they will be back. WFO merch. It's on and off sale all the time. Get yourself some t-shirts. Get yourself some gear. WFO merch. It's in the chat section. Let's see. Definitely. Too much. Too much. Thank you to Justin. Alan will be back next week. Oh, you guys are like the sewing circle. The speculation. He'll be in Vegas. He'll be in Pomona. I had a great time. I want to say thanks to the Meyer family, Christy Meyer Johnson, Barry Johnson, Billy Meyer, for literally inviting me into their family. Like being part of the Texas Motorplex team was very special. Very special. The meetings and how they handle it. And really, I know every track tries very hard, but they've got something special going on down there at the Motorplex. If I was you, I would make my plans for next year right now. Latoya says, great show. Great show, Latoya. Thank you. You too. Your show was good too, Latoya. And Sammy Eubanks, the voice who hit the high note. No cylinders out on that one. Way to go, Sammy. That's one of my favorite things, hanging out with Sammy for God Bless America right before the finals. We have a good time. And driving the new personal best at the Motorplex 186.8 or whatever it was. Pretty stoked. Had some good times. Thanks to the folks at Speed and Truck World, Mike and Cammie, for doing my vinyl. Great stuff. We had a blast. Big Red Evil Eye got me. It was my own fault. I'll know a little better next time. All right, guys. Thanks to Justin. Thanks to all of you. We ask you to share the show. Go on YouTube, subscribe, click the bell, share with some friends, because we can always use a couple more listeners. WFO.